Imagine waking up one morning and realizing Pepsi has one of the largest navies in the world. Not Coca-Cola, not the US Navy, Pepsi. A fleet of Soviet warships, submarines, destroyers, enough firepower to make a soft drink brand a global military threat. This isn't a weird dream after too much caffeine. This actually happened, and shockingly, it almost started a war. Today, we're diving into the story of how Pepsi, the soda you sip with your pizza, briefly became a naval superpower during the Cold War. Stick around, because the ending is absolute chaos. Our story begins in the late 1950s. The Cold War is raging. America versus the Soviet Union. Capitalism versus communism. Coke versus Pepsi. The Soviet Union wants to prove their system is superior. The US wants to show the world how fun freedom can taste. In 1959, US President Dwight Eisenhower and Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev hosted a cultural exchange in Moscow. American products, movies, and lifestyles were displayed with bright, flashy confidence. And right in the middle of this political circus, a Pepsi executive came up with a daring idea: offer Khrushchev a cold, fizzy Pepsi. The Soviet leader took a sip, liked it, smiled for the cameras, and suddenly Pepsi wasn't just a drink, it became a diplomatic tool. But there was a problem. The Soviet Union did not use US dollars. International trade with the USSR was extremely limited. So how could Pepsi sell soda to millions of Soviet citizens if they had no access to Western currency? Pepsi would have to get creative. Fast forward to the 1970s, Pepsi discovers a clever loophole. If the Soviets can't pay with dollars, they'll pay with vodka. Yes, vodka. Pepsi signs one of the strangest business deals in beverage history. The USSR will give Pepsi Stolichnaya vodka, and Pepsi will give them Pepsi. A lightly intoxicated soda exchange. And it works. Millions of bottles are sold across the Soviet Union. Pepsi becomes the first American consumer product allowed in the communist empire. Coca-Cola is furious. Pepsi had just won monopoly access to the biggest nation on Earth. But the USSR wants more Pepsi, a lot more, and vodka alone can't cover the bill. So the Soviets come back with an unexpected proposal. What if they pay Pepsi with warships? That's right, they literally offer a navy in exchange for soda. In 1989, Pepsi and the Soviet Union strike a wild new deal. The Soviets deliver submarines, a cruiser, a frigate, and a destroyer, almost 20 naval vessels in total. Pepsi suddenly controls the sixth largest navy in the world. A soft drink company gains more firepower than many nations. Pepsi's CEO even jokes to the US government, saying, "We're disarming the Soviet Union faster than you are." For a moment, a cola brand has the power to influence global politics. But Pepsi doesn't actually want to go to war with Coca-Cola's marketing department, so they quickly sell the ships to a Swedish scrapyard, turning Cold War weapons into pure profit. Everything seems smooth. The Soviets get more Pepsi, Pepsi gets richer, the world avoids a soda-fueled conflict. But history loves chaos. Just 2 years later, the Soviet Union collapses like a shaken cola can exploding. Factories shut down, the economy crashes, the currency loses value overnight. Pepsi's sweet trade deal vanishes instantly, and Coca-Cola storms into Russia with full force, taking over the market Pepsi once controlled alone. All that power, all those submarines, all that status disappears like fizz in the wind. For a brief moment in history, Pepsi had the potential to change global politics. A simple drink became a diplomatic weapon, a navy became a form of currency, and a business agreement almost altered the Cold War itself, all because a politician drank a Pepsi, a trade deal used vodka instead of money, and a collapsing superpower paid for soda with submarines. The next time you open a bottle of Pepsi, remember this. You're drinking the beverage that once commanded a navy and brushed dangerously close to reshaping history. If you want more wild stories like this one, make sure to stick around, stay curious, and keep your imagination carbonated. Over and out.